Today on Talk and Throttle we have the Suzuki DL650XT. This bike is quite a number of firsts for Talk and Throttle. It's the first manufacturer to give us full media access and give us a bike for a whole week to review. It's the first V-twin engine we are reviewing, and it's also the first video after we've been monetized on YouTube. So thank you so much to everybody that is liking, subscribing and viewing our content. Today we're reviewing a motorcycle that is not trying to be something that it's not. It's not trying to be overly flashy, it's just trying to be good at all the right places. In the front we've got dual discs of 310mm with dual piston calipers. We've got a spoke 19-inch rim. In the back we've got a 260mm disc, only one of them, and a single piston caliper, as well as a 17-inch rim. And then on the engine front we have got the iconic V-twin. It's been around since 1999 on the SV650. In 2004 they released it on the DL650, and it's been on the bike ever since. The V-twin is kicking out 69 horsepower, which is 50 kilowatt at 8,000 RPMs. The newton meters of torque is 69 at 6,400 RPMs. Then we've got the aluminium twin spar frame. In the front we have 43mm telescopic forks with 1,600mm of travel. At the back we've got a link type suspension with 1,500mm of travel, which you can also adjust the preload and the rebound, which all comes down to a 835 mm seat height. I'm 178 and you can see I'm almost flat-footed, not quite, but this is very manageable and a very pleasant place to sit. We've got a 20-litre tank. Couple that with around 20 k's a litre. We've got Alright. Fuel consumption wise, we've got people saying that they're averaging around 440. It's saying on an average is 19 kilometers per litre. In the front we have this beak-like design with almost a one-eyed woodpecker look. It's really grown on me over the past few days. And then the screen is actually adjustable. There is 3 different places where you can screw out these bolts and screw it back on, so you're not gonna change it on the fly, but it is adjustable to 3 different heights. The indicators and so on, it's not LED as you might expect for something that's still being pushed out in 2025. However, I feel the bike needs to look like this. You can actually spec the LED turn signals and so on, but I just feel the whole look of the bike is that of it's not trying too hard. So I really don't mind these. Yeah, from the previous gen they made this a lot sleeker, and I must say I quite like it. It doesn't feel like a 20-litre tank. However, it's always nice to know you've got 20 litres. If you're looking at a DL650 and the normal one, you don't get the spoke aluminium rims. You only get the cast aluminium rims. So this is a little better for off-road riding. You don't get this bodywork here down here, which for me completes the look, especially with the well filter right here. It just covers that up quite nicely for me. So, and you don't get the hand guards. So if you're looking at a 650, I would go for the XT above the normal one. The normal one is 3 k's lighter. It's at 215 kg, sorry about that. And this one is coming in at 218 kgs. Let's hear what a V-twin sounds like. I must say it's got a pleasant sound and a nice growl on it. Let's go for the road review. Alright, so let's just quickly speak about the electronics. You do get traction control, which you can adjust here with this button. So you press that, this will illuminate, and then you can up and down it. So traction control off, which means you will obviously have no traction control. Traction control 1 means that it will allow the wheel still to spin a little. So this is for your dry riding, your road riding, and so on. And then you've got TC number 2, which is more intrusive. So in TC number 2, they recommend putting that on in wet conditions and slippery conditions. Then it really starts kicking in a lot earlier. So TC1, it will allow you to play a little bit more. TC2, that is traction control, is seeing what it can do constantly. So the best one to put it in is in 1, and that's it. That is how you adjust it. Other than that, this dash, it might look not as fancy as a lot of the competitors these days. It's got the TFT displays and so on. However, it's giving you everything that you want. It's clear. You've got the gears, you've got your speed, you've got your heat, you've got a full fuel gauge, which says full all the way down, and it gives you your average kilometers per liter, or you can change that. Then it will give you liters per 100 kilometers. However, I always like seeing kilometers per liter. I wish that was the default on most bikes and cars. Then it gives you the range. If you hit the reserve tank, the light will go on, and it will actually tell you how much you got left on the reserve. It gives you at first glance everything that you need, which I feel is perfect. You don't need more. It doesn't need to be fancier than that. One thing you don't get is you don't get cancelling turn signals, so that you are going to have to cancel yourself. So remember that. However, it does show nicely there and there that you are still actually signaling. You've got a little bit of play on the throttle. So I'm going to tell you, you've got that first speed where nothing happens. All right, but there it kicks in. So, and then it's quite a turn till full throttle. So, but that's what you're going to get with a normal cable throttle. So, but there's no quirk here that I can't live with. The one thing I want to know, Suzuki, is why is the park light after the lock? So you'll put the bike down, you turn it, and you turn it as far as you can, you take the key out and you walk away. That puts the park lights on in the front and the back. And I've had two situations where I was basically walking I walked away from the bike. An hour or two, I came back later and I was like, oh, the light is on. How is that possible? And that's because the parking light is after the lock. So if you unlock it, everything's dead. There's nothing on. So I would have put a park before lock. But anyway, that's the only thing I think is why. Other than that, I feel everything that you need is here. You've got your power socket here as well to charge anything if you need charging. So it has everything. It's probably got the best mirrors I've ever had on a bike. Alright, they don't blur. I'll show you at high speeds, they don't blur. You've got, I know they look a little bit retro and old school. They are, but they don't blur. They give so much visibility behind you. It's genuinely, is the first thing I noticed when I got on this bike. It's like, wow, I can actually see what's going on. It's not vibrating. It's just pleasant. So yeah, but all right, that's enough. Let's go and take it on the road. All right, we always start first off with comfortability. And yeah, I must say I'm very comfortable. Like I mentioned before, the handlebars is a little bit narrower than what I've experienced on other adventure tourers, but it's really not bad. You do get used to it, and it does make you feel as if the bike is that your body is doing more inputs than necessarily you putting in steering inputs, which makes it quite fun. And other than that, the seat is amazing. It's nice and wide. The pillion seat is nice and wide and it's comfortable. You won't have the missus complaining on the back of this. You'll be able to spend a few hours on it without needing to get off because your bums are too hurt. It's really a good all-rounder. It's not as obviously as powerful as let's say the 1000 DL or any of the bigger bikes, but it does it has enough, and it has all the comforts though, you know, for you to feel that this isn't a small dinky toy. It's fun. It feels bigger. There, look, the leaning is just, it wants to lean over. This likes being in the corners actually. Anyway, but other than that, your knees are not too cramped. If you're in the active riding position, your feet are a little bit, maybe a good way behind your knees, but if you're just in relaxed position, it's 100% fine. As I said, the seat is great. Suspension, you can obviously adjust the preload and the rebound at the back, which is great that you'll be able to do that. It's a comfortable ride. The ride isn't firm. It soaks up the bumps. It's not like you're riding on a cloud. I would say above average for soaking up the bumps and so on and so forth. Right, then power wise, it revs out at 10,000 RPM. So in the lower RPMs, you don't feel there's nothing. We're in fifth, doing 80, opening up the throttle, and we're past. We're at 120. So it's not breakneck speeds, but you've got so much to work with low down in the rev range. You won't ever feel there's not enough. This is fun in that department. And when you get to the higher RPMs, it does pull. You can go to 150 in third gear. It's maybe not as rapid as a 900 or anything above that. But you can play around and still have fun and not be, you know, constantly breaking the speed limit. And the handling really is a tick in the department for this bike. It really makes the experience fun. No riding modes. You obviously still got a cable throttle, so you only start getting riding modes once you start getting by wire. Alright, here's another example. So I'm going to put it now in third. We're doing 90, we're at 700 RPM. And we just went past 10,000 RPMs and we were at 135, on an uphill. In third, this engine does not vibrate at all. There's very little vibrations from the bike. Even in the foot pegs, there's like next to nothing. And the way it delivers its power is so smooth. The gear shifting is extremely smooth. Up and down. I've got the screen is in the highest position and you don't really get too much wind on your chest. However, I'm getting a little bit of wind noise on the helmet, but it's not bobbing my head around. That's the thing. I'm personally uncomfortable. However, a set of earplugs might work for you. Brakes are good. I won't say it's high performance. To get a good, you need to quite, press on it properly, but it's good enough. It's not bad. It's not something that if you're not pushing it to its limits that you would feel, no, I need better brakes. It's really for your average commute and even touring wise, it's really good enough. The cockpit, the place to sit, is really a nice place to be. As I said, the display, the TFT, the fact that it's not a TFT display isn't bothering me at all. It maybe look a little bit, you know, dated compared to the TFTs other guys are starting to put on the bike, but it really gives you everything you need to know and more, and it's simple, and you don't have to go through 17 menus to get to the info you want. The rev counter is nice and big, you'll always know how many revs you're running at. The switches and so on, they're perfectly fine. Look, this bike is not trying to be a high-end bike. It's not trying to compete, let's say, necessarily on the luxury end of things. It's trying to give you value for money, and I must say it does do that. So this bike is coming in brand spanking new, 165,000 for a brand new bike, 600 cc's and up. You don't have much other options than you see. If Motors obviously brought in their adventure or their adventure touring bike. I haven't yet tested that, but this is really fun. I'm quite happy at that price point for what I'm getting. If you're looking for a new bike and you're looking for something that is, you want something new, however, you just want the bike to back and work. You don't want it to be fancy. You just want a decent enough ride so that you can do everything that your other buddies are doing on their BMWs and their KTMs and so on, but at a lower price point with a lot less nice to haves, but just nice to haves. It's got everything you need to have. Then I would say go for this. The engine is remarkably reliable. There's almost no issues reported on these. It's been around for let's say 30 years. So in 30 years they've sorted out all the issues that they can be on this bike regarding the engine. So I would really say, if you're going to buy this one, you're going to put a bunch of kilometers on it, and you're going to not have problem. Just service it regularly. It will keep on running forever. And that's another thing. If you're looking to tour, you know, and not meaning just to the coffee shop and back, and you're literally looking at going into Africa or so on, I wouldn't say this is a bad option. If something is going to break, it's going to be easy fixable. There's a lot less here that can break. So if something does go wrong, it's not going to cost you an arm and a leg to fix. And because there's so little that can go wrong, you've got also a lot less to worry about. So yeah, if you're going to tour long distance and you want a low maintenance, not overly heavy, good fuel consumption bike, yeah, I must say go and have a look at one of these. How's this bike in traffic? Amazing, I must tell you. When I went to pick up this bike at Suzuki's head office, I had about a 60k drive back to my office. It was packed bumper to bumper situations, and I could so easily get through all the traffic because the bike feels so narrow compared to a lot of other bikes. It feels like you can just zigzag your way through the traffic with any hassle. Obviously, if you have panniers on the back, it's going to feel a little bit wider, but as is a pleasant thing to have in the traffic. So that's it for the 2025 Suzuki DL650XT. Unfortunately, this is going to be the last iteration of the DL650. You're still going to find it on dealership floors, but it is coming up to be discontinued, and they've got a bunch of them, so they're still going to put them on dealership floors until the stock runs out. It's a bike that proves you don't always need the biggest engine or the fanciest tech to have a proper adventure. it's dependable, it's comfortable, and it delivers that V-twin charm we've known for years. Sure, it's not going to break any speed records, but it will get you basically anywhere without breaking the bank. For a middleweight adventure bike that is easy to live with, that handles commuting just as well as weekends away, with a bulletproof reputation, the DL650 needs to be on your shortlist. We just want to say thank you to Suzuki South Africa for lending us this bike for the whole week. It made the DL650 review possible. And if you like our motorcycle reviews, consider hitting the like button and subscribing for more. See you in the next one.